Now that everything is back under control, at least I thought it was. No. This is the day in the life of a retoucher, a photo retoucher. We are not very sophisticated or complicated individuals. Rather, we like to keep things simple. Hence, when we work on photographs, we don't want to spend a whole lot of time uh, uh, with techniques that take a lot of time. We want to be efficient, we want to be thorough, and we want to be accurate. Over the past 2 weeks, I received some interesting photographs from viewers, and I just really am looking forward to just jumping right in and working on these. Now, right now, if you're watching live, we have a chat room. Feel free to pop in some questions if you have any comments. Try to keep it relevant. If you want to chime in and say, "Hey, what's up, Eric? I'm here," that's fine. If I don't acknowledge you, please do not take it as an offense. I'm probably engrossed with a photograph. So let's get started. I think I'll figure this out. You know, I've had this wonderful sign here, and for ever since we started, I think, and this now it's acting up. Now it decides to keep falling. So it should be normal now. Well. Here we go. The first one the first image set of images we'll open here. And this is from one of our loyal viewers, and he was trying to, get my opinion. This is from our friend Dennis, trying to get our opinion on some of the little defects with the picture and how he thought to work on it. So let's rotate this and look at it normally, because for you to have to turn your head and to try to figure this out, it ain't worth it. So what we did is we just rotate it. All right. Now here is the problem in this picture. Let me just zoom in a little bit, like so. Alright, so we have this area of light, and this area is a little dark. Now, in my opinion, this is probably something that was maybe on the film. Maybe some of the frames were exposed with light, either before this frame or after this frame, and some of it just bled through, and this is something worth keeping. It definitely is worth keeping. I mean, look at the character of these men sitting here. I mean, this is fantastic. So he wanted to know, well, what can I do to deal with this light spot? All right, and what's the most affordable way? Now, he sent me what he did, and I have to say I'm quite impressed. He did this with GIMP, and he added a transparent layer, set it to grain merge, then used the gradient tool, black to transparent, and then the eraser and paintbrush tools to even out the colors. This is the best I've done so far. So I have to admit that that's pretty complex. I have to give Dennis, I have to give you credit. I wouldn't have thought of doing it like that, and that doesn't mean that I know more than you or less than you. It's just a matter of style and technique and experience. And you called yourself a 2-bit hack in your message to me, but I don't think you're a 2-bit hack because the way you approached it, I thought was really good. And in fact, I just wanted to just touch a little bit on this image here, and I just like to add that, hey, why not work on the contrast? So here we're working in uh, Photoshop CS4, and I would like to go in here and get a new adjustment layer, and we'll just do levels. You got levels in Illustrator. You also got it in GIMP. I just installed GIMP on here, but I didn't test it or reinstalled it. Actually, I did have it not too long ago, but we had to wipe the hard drive. You know how it goes sometimes. So now this white area, this border is catching on this little histogram, so I'm just going to push right past it and go to the edge of the mountain, as I like to say, and then go to the composite channel, and we want to increase the contrast there. I'll go to the layer palette and turn it off and on so we can see the before and after. We got a little more detail in there, so I think that was a pretty good technique. Let's just try something real quick. Let's go back to the one you were working on, and what I'll do is I'll go up here in the toolbox and grab the rectangular marquee, and just bring it down here like this. I just do the whole no, actually, why should I do that whole image? Because let's just go a little bit above here, okay? And I'll transform my selection just to bring it out, because I missed a spot, and hit OK. Next thing I'll do, go to feather, and we'll go to modify feather, and I'm not sure what the resolution of this image is. It looks kind of low. Let me put in 20. I shouldn't need to feather it too much. Yeah, I think that might have been too much. So I think we'll definitely go to half. So select, modify, feather, 10. Maybe that's pretty good. Transform this selection right now, and I think we'll do the same thing with the levels adjustment. And since we have our selection here, somehow I deselected, go up here, adjustment layer, levels, and since this area is lighter than this area, or you could say this area is darker than this area, so maybe we could swap it, see if that makes a difference. But anyways, and I've selected the lighter area. Let's go to the black slide, the black triangle, and move it in. And go to the layer palette. Let's turn it off and on. Now looking up here, it's probably a little too dark, so back off a little bit. Now, one thing I don't like is that it seems like the top area is good, but this whole area here is not so good. We could do another selection. So I'll load this selection that's in that mask from the layer levels adjustment layer. Yeah, I just move this little selection down here. And we'll make another one. Let's see how that goes. Usually I don't do it like this, but I just wanted to try to do something that might be easy for anyone to jump into. Now, there is one issue that we're dealing with, and we're not necessarily, in this area, we're not dealing with shadows as much as we're dealing with midtones. So that could be the problem. So in that case, you want to work with the midtones slider. That helps a little bit. I have to say, Dennis really looks good compared to this. Let's go to his. Yeah, his is really good. Mine is not so good. I'll duplicate the background layer. Now here's something that might help, and learned this many years ago, is we'll use the burn tool. And we'll burn with shadows. Let's try moving the slider to 10%. Then we choose a brush, a nice big brush. Let's see if I get this right here. Okay. And deselect. Actually, let me go to 30% for shadows. Yeah, it's not so pretty. I don't like that. Let's turn these two adjustment layers off here. Now we'll try it. Sometimes that has an effect. No, I don't like that either. So I'm beginning to wonder, maybe I should do the shadow side, the darker side here. Now I'm keeping all my layers intact, but I will not, I turned them off though. I turned these two adjustment layers off. And let's go to select and feather. Let's try 6 for your pixel radius. That still might be too much. Alright, nevertheless, let's grab that layers adjustment layer, levels adjustment layer. There we go. It's making a difference in matching. Although we are starting to see a line in the middle there. But at least there's more balance. So that's all about which side do you work on first. Now, I'm going to try duplicating this background copy. I will merge this. I'll actually duplicate this one too and turn off the copy. Then merge that adjustment layer down into this one. And let's see here. I'll grab what's called the healing brush. I got kind of a hard edge on it. Let's see what happens when I work in here. Yeah. It's picking up the bright area in the wood. Let's see if I can maintain that. While blending. That's not bad. And in here, that's pretty good. Maybe down in here. And down in here, it's kind of light too. So in that case, boy, you know, there's so many scratches too. I hate to work on this because I want to fix the scratches first. But we're not dealing with that. We're just dealing with this spot. Alright, so let's grab the dodge tool. It's right packaged with the burn tool. And got this right here. 3% isn't enough. I'm going to crank it up to 30%. Yeah, that's too much. And I mean, he has definitely got a lot of. I have my brush settings here. I think there's. I'm going to turn off the pressure sensitivity on this brushes palette. I have a little more control that I like. Okay, good. Yeah, 30% is definitely too much. So 20%. Actually, I prefer the history brush in this case, but we'll do fine. Now, see, what we do is we can, let me close this, and this one, and then we can see our layers again, and this one. Yeah, I don't know. I think we got it right here. But anyways, let's put what I like. We can do a hue and saturation, and just pull out the saturation just to get rid of any tones in there. Okay. And another thing you can do, if you have CS4 and above, you can do something called black and white. It's kind of neat. So there you have it. There's one approach, and Dennis just sent me a message that it's a 300 DPI image, and you know, I should look, but the tricky part is the actual dimensions are actually quite small. So 300 pixels per inch is good, but the actual size of the image is small. So that's why I recommend that you scan it in quite large. At least, and if you're dealing with a small picture like this, go ahead and scan it in, magnify it at 200% when you're scanning it in at 300 pixels per inch. Some folks like to scan it in at 100% size and increase the resolution to 600. That's fine. Either way, you end up with the same amount of pixels. It just can be a little more confusing. So that's why I recommend people scan it in at least 150% magnification, and then go ahead and do your if you want to size it down. But I say keep it big, because once you downsize it, you can't get it back. It's just like the economy, you downsize, you fire people, you outsource, it never comes back. So pretty much just keep things the way they are when it comes to your pictures. May not be like that in the real world, but nevertheless, I think it's a good thing.
What makes a good scan?
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly. So, let this be a lesson for everybody. Everybody's got their own technique. Now, of course, if you need workflow and you want something along that level where you want structure, you want instruction from beginning to end, well, go to a class for that. Of course, I have my course, which you might have seen an ad for it. Hint, hint, but if you're interested in, getting a good foundation from beginning to end, and end would be having a good workflow, having the fundamentals you need to approach it. That's the way to go. Now, I had another great picture that came our way, and I will clear our screen for a moment, and we'll get this. I think I'll open. Yeah, we'll go ahead and open it up with Acrobat. This was a before and after of a gentleman who contacted me online. Happens to be from the United Kingdom, and just showing me some of his work, and I thought it was exceptional. And so I wanted to show you what he did. I thought it was really good. So here's before, and here's after. I mean, this is really great. I'm trying to see if I can put it side by side. I'm sure I can. I'm sure there's some way to do it here. I'll just zoom out. There you go. That's better. So before and after. And I just think he did such a nice job, rebuilding this area. I didn't ask specifically how he did it. It does look like there is some clone stamp work involved, but it's very accurate work. I think that some of the drawbacks to the clone stamp tool, to cloning or healing, is sometimes you'll get patterns like in here where you can see duplication compared to the original, where it is really quite random. But here there's a pattern showing, in the nose here. These kind of things can be a giveaway. So that's where use of the paintbrush tool and other functions will actually help you. But I just think he did such a great job. I was telling him he should fix the contrast, but he was explaining in his message to me that he needed this to be a certain way for printing, because the printing is quite dark. So he adds, or quite light. So by adding contrast prior to printing, it can make the image too dark, and he finds this that takes away the image. So when I say contrast, how can I say? When I say contrast, at least in my mind, I base it on the ideal of pure white, rich blacks. So you have dark shadow areas that are dark, yet they contain detail. That's why I call it rich. Then you have, on the other side, you have pure white. So that is some white areas, highlights, not specular highlights like what you see on a flash on the lens. These will be pure, as in there is just a tiny bit of detail. But if we look in these pictures, the blacks are not very rich and whites are not very pure. And as my great photography teacher in high school, Mr. Ware, said at Evanston Township High School, he said, your photo is like a perfectly integrated society of rich blacks and pure whites. I always like to say that. It usually leads to silence in the classroom when I say that. But I just love saying it. Anyways, now it says it's secured. Well, I'm going to try to open it in Photoshop because I really would like to talk about this. Oh, it's got a password. Okay. All right, so I will not. Yeah, I just got an email from him that says he did a password. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around your password there, and I'm gonna make a screenshot. Okay, and we will open it. Hopefully, it will not open in CS5, which I don't like to use while I'm teaching. And let's see if I can open it. It should be down here somewhere, maybe here. Ah, here it is. Great. All right. And there's no need for the password. I just did the screenshot. We'll be fine. Thank you. So here's what we're talking about. Get my camera right here for you. So let's go to a. This adjustments panel is so outrageous. Let's go to a levels adjustment layer. All right. And what I'm saying is, look, we have these mountains here, and we have our white slider and our black slider. They are nowhere near the edges of the mountain. So I can make a quick fix like this. Boom, and we got our contrast. This, I would say, try printing this and see how it looks. And if you like how it looks, well, then you got it. I do have concern with modeling on the skin here with the subject. You know, it's kind of modeled. There's a lot of ways to approach that. You might even, in this case, since we have an adjustment layer, which I do not believe Elements has these. I keep forgetting. We can take the paintbrush tool and paint away that area so it's not so bright. Now he looks kind of dirty though. His arm looks kind of dirty. But nevertheless, that's one way to approach it. Because you don't want the eye, you see in photography, the eye naturally veers to the brightest areas of a picture. So where are the brightest areas? Well, I see a bright highlight here by his ear and by his eye. And the little, looks like a banana peel to me. But in the arm here, so we just, all right. So that's one thing I would do. Now, there's another picture. Like I said, that I think would just top it off, and it'd be just right. And the next one is he sent me this great picture, and you know I get this kind of problem a lot. So here we have a picture that has like a coating on it, and he explained it to me. It's in a really bad state, and he says here, didn't give me too many details that I'm able to glean right away, but we can see right here that there's a nice little coating on here, right around here in the center. Now this can be solved. Similar, like with a similar technique with the picture of the men that we did earlier today. Now if you have Photoshop or GIMP, there's something called a pen tool or a path tool. And we're gonna use this, I'd say, just for a part of this image. Look at that big thumbprint. Isn't that something when relatives put their fingers all over their pictures when they hand it to you? They go, gee, thanks for the picture. Could you please get your thumb off of the person's face? So let's deal, you know, faces are always controversial. So I'll grab the pen tool. I'm actually going to go right along here. Like I said, we don't have time to do the whole thing. I wish we could. But here's, this is a good note for you. So when you get home, or I presume you are home, but when you are finished, you can go ahead and try it out. So let's try going up here. Now, what I would have you do is go all the way around. But you know what? Let me just do that. But I'll do it really rough. But I want you, when you get home, I want you to go accurately, okay? When you're working. I keep saying, like, when you get home. I'm treating it like it's a classroom in a building. When actually it's a virtual room. I think it goes up here. And then there's like another patch over there. Could I be right? It's hard to tell. Regardless. Okay. And we'll save the path by double clicking. Now, next thing I want to do is we gotta standardize the pic. We have to just bring all the colors to a common denominator, because we have two different hues going on. We got kind of a yellowish thing, and we got a kind of black and white, or black or cyan, bluish, greenish thing going. It looks bad. So let's just go to hue and saturation. Keep it simple. And desaturate. Now right away, this eliminates half of our problem. And it's a black and white picture too, so you don't want any color cast from the beginning. If you want to simulate a sepia tone, then, what you do, you desaturate like this. And you do another hue and saturation. This is one way. There's a lot of ways to do it. And you check colorize. All right. And, you find something that's kind of brown. And you mess with the saturation. There. Now you got your sepia look. But I don't want to deal with that right now. I want to show you about fixing this nasty edge. So, right, okay, so let's click the path, and we check this little button right in the path palette. Looks like a little dotted circle. And then it turns our path into a selection. Now let me check the image size. Alright, so it's 72. Let me actually cut that to 300 because I can understand that better. Okay, this is a good size picture. So we need to feather this. And I would say 1 pixel should be good enough. If we're not sure, hit the Q key. Off and on to look at it in quick mask. It's still a little too sharp. Let's feather it again. That's better. Now what we do, get another adjustment layer. Now if you in a program that doesn't have adjustment layers, you need to use, you need to do a duplicate of this background copy for each one. Alright, so let me get back here. Levels. And then move these sliders down to get it to match. And it's probably going to be mid-tone, so depends where the face is. So you'll see we got it. It's a little move. And you'll see some hard edges, right? But at least it matches better compared to here. You see these hard edges, that's because it was rough. But look where I did a good one. It's right in here. So, now, there's still some problems. But if you can get the whole thing from one big blotch to not such a big blotch, then you can duplicate the background layer and flatten all these layers into one. Then you can go in. Boy, there's so much mess in here I would have tackled first. But you can go in and do things to try to help blend it. So, for example, if I did this with the healing brush, which is in CS4 Photoshop 6 and above, goes way back. See how it blends it in real nice? All those nasty dust spots. But like I said, we weren't working on that. So there you have it.
It's a good scan.
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly. So what'd you think? Got any questions? We have just a few moments for you to send them in that chat box. And if you're watching a recording, well, you can still send me a question. There's always a way to reach me. The best way is to go to that website, photografix.pro. That's PHOTOGRAFIX.pro. You can't miss it because that's where the purple elephant hangs out. And we love to get questions. And we love for you to tell all your friends and family about photographics, about what we're doing, about the course, about the show, about the blog, about the articles. And if you work for a genealogical society, hey, ask if they want to carry my articles. Every show, like the show that you're watching right now, we have a nice little article that we put out right along with it, so we can put that in your publication. And it doesn't have to be a genealogical society. We will be cutting our show frequency down to pretty much once a month from here on. It seems to give everyone a little more time to submit their questions. And when you send me a question, that's ericb@photographics.pro, or any other way that you want to contact me, include the picture. I pretty much tell people, oh, okay, let me see the picture. Because the question, with words describing what's wrong with the picture, yeah, I might be able to help. But if you send the picture, I'll work on it on the show. And we'll talk about it. And you can tell everyone else about it. And if you like what I did, well, there you have something that you can use to fix it yourself. I will definitely look forward to having you all back, and I see already that they clone stamp comments were helpful, and sometimes you just got to rebuild things from scratch. I mean, just with color and brushes and paint, you mix it in and blend it and add noise for grain. And I have on photographics.pro, we have the Photographics University, and I just got to show you real quick before we jump out for the evening. Oh my gosh, there I am. And right here on the store, we have videos, and there's some videos, some pretty intense videos with rebuilding. I'd say Tintype Tango, I show you how to rebuild. Cracked Up Emotion, I show you how to rebuild. Actually painting it. This one is real deep. Number 3, Rebuilding Missing Edges. And each one has a little video you can watch. So, check these things out if you want. Yeah, they do cost money. But if you, I figured, well, if you like working on your own pictures, spend some money on learning how to do it from people with experience. And you'll enjoy working on the pictures even more. So, thank you again for joining us. And my name is Eric Basir. And special thanks to our friends who submit questions. And, of course, Judy, and who happens to be my mother, who is such an excellent transcriber and editor while working on the blog. We really love you, Mom, and thanks for all your help helping make Photographics University useful to other people. Anyways, take care and be careful because didn't write it. All these technical difficulties. Gotcha.